Hi, I'm David Patterson. Today we're going to talk about cast iron skillets. Yeah, I think what happens with cast irons is people buy them and then they think, that I need to season them once and then it's going to be basically a non-stick pan. But I don't think anything could be farther from the truth. Really, seasoning a cast iron is more about maintenance than seasoning it that first time. And so every time you use it, you don't want to use soap, and so you want to use hot water and lightly scrub it. If there's a little bit of stuff stuck to it, put a little bit of kosher salt in it and just rub it around and try to get it out. And then you need to put more oil in it and sort of season it again. And so mine is really well seasoned, but that's only because I re-season it almost every single time I use it. And so it's not this sort of one and done thing to where you go and you buy one and you season it one time and it's over and you don't have to think about it again. Yes, you certainly have to do that, but you also have to maintain it. And if you maintain it, then you end up with probably one of the most important aspects of your cookware in your kitchen that you can do a whole bunch of stuff with. I think there's been a lot of misinformation about how to deal with them and how to maintain them. And so hopefully today we can sort of clear some of that stuff up. So I have a cast iron here today, and this is actually my grandmother's cast iron that is pretty well seasoned, but before I cook on it again today, I'm just gonna sort of demonstrate how I season it. There's a lot of different theories of how you do it, but this is how I do it, and it seems to work pretty well. And so I think you can use any sort of neutral oil that you want. I use olive oil mostly because it's what I have around. But a lot of people use grapeseed oil or vegetable oil or anything with sort of a high smoke point. Olive oil doesn't really have that, but I have never encountered any problems with using olive oil to season my cast irons. So today what you need to do is you just need to put a little bit of oil in it. And so this is just regular olive oil. I think a lot of people run into problems when they put too much oil in their skillet, and then you end up with not being able to cook it all off, and it ends up being sticky and kind of clunky. And so you want to put less oil than you think that you should. And so you're going to put it in there and you're going to put it in your oven, or today we're going to do it on my grill. I like doing it on the grill because I think it adds a little bit of smoky element to the seasoning that, an oven doesn't, but you can absolutely do it in an oven. And what we're doing today goes for this sort of, cornbread style skillet, but any sort of cast iron seasons the same way. And so you can see that it has this good sort of slick surface. And that did not come from just one time doing it. It came from over and over and over and over and over. Seasoning it and maintaining it and thinking about, where you're at and how you can fix it rather than just that first time when you bring it home from the store. So now we're gonna put it on the grill. But again, you can do this in your oven. You want it to be somewhere over 400 degrees, probably between 400 and 500 degrees would be ideal for this. So depending on how hot it is, it could take 3 or 4 minutes for your oil to get to the point that it's gonna smoke. And you just want those sort of like light wisps of smoke. You don't want it to be like burning and catching on fire. And then you wanna pull it off and let it sit for a while. And then I just take a paper towel and wipe it out at that point. Because I think a lot of people leave the oil in it for a while, and that's what causes them to get gloopy. And so, once we pull it out, you're gonna let it cool, and then you're just gonna wipe it out. And so if you do this over and over and over again, each time you cook, you'll end up with something that is basically a non-stick pan that's good for searing steaks or vegetables or whatever it is that you want to do. Nothing makes me feel more close to family than cooking on cast iron. And so the one that we seasoned today was my grandmother's, but I have some that were my grandfather's. I have some of my mom's, some of my dad's. And when you season them and you treat them well, they basically become a member of the family, and much more than just a cooking implement that you would pick up at a regular store. And you think about what they cooked in them, how they would like the things that you're cooking in them, how what you're cooking compares to how the things that they cooked. And so you develop this relationship with it that's very different than lots of other things around the kitchen.